Hey everyone, imagine this, you're feeling stuck, maybe a bit overwhelmed, wondering if there's a practical way to actually feel better, to find more joy and energy in your everyday life. Well, I've just finished diving deep into a book that promises exactly that. And I can't wait to tell you about it. It's called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale, first published way back in 1952, but honestly, its message feels as fresh and relevant today as ever. Now, why this book, you ask? Because it's not just some feel-good philosophy. Peale presents a simple, workable philosophy of living based on dynamic laws that he discovered through his own struggles, and he shares his spiritual experience with the hope that it can help others too. He believes that you don't need to be defeated by anything, that you can have peace of mind, improved health, and a never-ceasing flow of energy, leading to a life full of joy and satisfaction. This isn't just theory for him. He's watched countless people apply these simple procedures and see real benefits in their lives. So, if you're looking for a practical, direct action manual for personal improvement, stick with me, because this book aims to help you build the kind of life you deeply desire, with God's help. At its core, the book's main message is that your thoughts have incredible power to shape your reality. Peale argues that by altering your attitudes of mind, you can literally alter your life. He emphasizes applied Christianity, presenting it as a scientific system of practical techniques for successful living that truly works. One of the first things Peale tackles, and it's a big one for so many of us, is believing in yourself. Have you ever felt that nagging sense of inferiority or inadequacy? You know, the feeling that you're just not quite good enough. Peale says this malady, often called the inferiority complex, can definitely interfere with your hopes, but it's something you absolutely can overcome. He tells a powerful story about a businessman tormented by self-doubt before a crucial deal. Peale gave him a simple yet profound affirmation to repeat: I can do all things through Christ, which strengthened me. Philippians 4:13. What happened? The businessman reported it did wonders for him. It's incredible how few words can shift your mindset. Right? Peale himself admits he struggled with feeling skinny as a boy and being a preacher's son, which ironically made him want to be hard-boiled. He found his own solution in simple techniques of faith taught in the Bible, which he calls scientific and sound. This really ties into the idea of a peaceful mind generating power. Peale talks about how a year full of trouble from negative news or thoughts can lead to a disturbed night, while a mind full of peace leads to rest and improved circumstances. He shares a physician's favorite prescription that you can get at a drugstore: be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. It's all about changing your thought patterns. He suggests a mind emptying at least twice a day, literally picturing fears and regrets flowing out, and then immediately refiling your mind with creative, healthy thoughts like courage, peace, and assurance. It's like putting an occupied sign on your mind's door against all worries. But how do you keep that constant energy flowing, especially when life feels like it's constantly draining you? Peale points out that it's often the hard work that tires us out, but emotional upheaval like fear, resentment, and inner conflicts. He talks about a baseball pitcher, Frank Hiller, who, even in scorching heat, renewed his strength by repeating Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. This isn't magic. It's about connecting with divine energy, which Peale sees as the source of all energy. He recounts how Thomas Edison could work for hours, then sleep as naturally as a child, waking fully refreshed because he was in harmony with nature and with God. Free from inner conflicts, it's about getting your personality's beat synchronized with the rate of God's movement. This naturally leads us to the incredible power of prayer. Peale presents prayer not just as a religious act, but as a scientific procedure for successful living. He introduces a powerful three-point formula: prayer-rise, picture-rise, actualize. Prayer-rise means talking to God simply and directly, almost like a business partner. Integrating prayer into your daily life. Picture-rise means holding a clear mental image of what you want to achieve, seeing it as already happening, believing in it with faith. And actualize is when that visualized and prayed for outcome comes to pass, often in astonishing ways. He tells a fascinating story of a woman who saved her marriage by picturizing her husband back in his old chair, visualizing their restored harmony, and guess what? It actually happened. He also talks about Dr. Frank Laubach's flash prayer, sending out thoughts of goodwill and love to people as you pass them, feeling a tangible emanation of power. So, if you're wondering, how do I create my own happiness? Phil has a straightforward answer: you do. He references Abraham Lincoln, who said people are just about as happy as they made up their minds to be. It's about cultivating the happiness habit by choosing happy thoughts, affirming them every morning, and picturing positive outcomes. He shares the poignant example of Ralston Young, a redcap at Grand Central Station, who spread kindness and happiness to a grieving woman by simply appreciating her hat and dress, showing how sincere compassion can induce happiness. Another friend, H.C. Mattern, carries a business card with his philosophy: keep your heart free from hate, your mind from worry, live simply, expect little, give much, fill your life with love, scatter sunshine, forget self, think of others, do as you would be done by. Try this for a week and you will be surprised. Peale says that genuine happiness comes from an inner experience of spiritual change. Speaking of worries, Peale addresses how to break the worry habit head on. He says worry is a destructive mental habit and warns that it can literally make you sick, citing physicians who link it to conditions like arthritis and high blood pressure. He advocates a daily practice of emptying your mind of fears, especially before sleep, by visualizing them draining away like water from a basin, then immediately refilling with faith, hope, and courage. He cites the artist Howard Chandler Christie, who said, "When your mind is full of God, there is no room for worry." Another powerful technique is a businessman's evening ritual: tearing off the calendar page for the day, rolling it up, dropping it into a wastebasket, and praying, "Lord, the day is over and I'm through with it, so I'm giving it back to you." This dramatically symbolizes letting go of yesterday's worries. But what about when you're facing big personal problems? Peale offers power to solve personal problems by suggesting you conceive of God as a partner. He shares a story of a businessman whose company was failing, who in desperation effected a merger with God by putting his business, himself, and his future in God's hands. Soon after, new ideas began to flow and his business recovered. This is about activating your emergency powers of the human brain that often lie dormant. He also beautifully illustrates the concept of mustard seed faith. My friends Maurice and Mary Alice Flint used this idea to overcome financial ruin and deep negativity by creating mustard seed removeners, little plastic balls with the mustard seed inside, reminding people that if he had faith, nothing was impossible. Their lives transformed. And yes, the book even delves into how to use faith in healing. Peale firmly believes faith is a powerful factor in overcoming disease, advocating for a combination of medical science and spiritual science. He talks about psychosomatic medicine, a prescription of prayer, faith, and dynamic spiritual thinking. He gives examples of how releasing pent-up anger, resentment, or guilt can lead to physical healing. He even recounts a young Salister who suffered from chronic colds linked directly to her fits of anger, which cleared up when she learned to lead a calmer existence. He points out that the Bible, far from being theoretical, offers incredibly practical advice on health, stating that anger, resentment, and guilt make you sick. It's clear that an inflow of new thoughts can remake you. Peale highlights William James' profound statement: "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." He emphasizes that thoughts are things possessing dynamic power, and that we can literally think ourselves into or out of situations. He shares the incredible story of how the magazine Guideposts, which he helped establish, overcame severe financial difficulties by its staff stopping thinking like and instead visualizing 100 subscribers, believing it would happen, and it did. Even Henry J. Kaiser, when his machinery was buried in mud after a flood, simply said, "What mud? I am looking up at a clear blue sky and there is no mud up there." This optimistic visualization, combined with prayer and faith, can actualize achievement. And of course, for all this to work, you need to relax for easy power. Peale notes the alarming statistics on sleeping pill and aspirin use in America, linking them to tension and an inability to discipline emotions. He stresses the easy does it attitude, like Tech Hobbs' fluid, effortless batting. His friend, a busy businessman, starts each day with 15 minutes of quiet prayer and meditation, affirming God's strength and quiet energy, which gives him more energy than I need. He suggests 3 steps: collapse physically like a jellyfish, drain the mind of irritations, and think spiritually by turning to God. Finally, if you're wondering how to get people to like you, Peele is very direct. He asserts that a fundamental human drive is the desire to be appreciated. The secret is in acting, but cultivating a sincere and forthright interest in and love for people. He shares the wonderful example of James Farley, former postmaster general, who made a deep impression by simply shaking hands with the hotel maid and asking her name, showing genuine interest. It's about letting go of self-centeredness and instead building up the ego of other persons. When you help others feel valuable, they will naturally like you, and for those inevitable moments of heartache, Peele offers solace and a prescription. While acknowledging physical activity and allowing yourself to grieve naturally are important, the deeper remedy is curative comfort supplied by trust in God. He emphasizes the unshakable belief that there is no death, that all life is indivisible. He shares incredibly moving stories of dying individuals seeing loved ones who have already passed, like Natalie Kalmus' sister calling out her deceased cousin's name, or his own mother's presence after her passing, giving him the message, "Why seek ye the living among the dead? I am not here." Luke 24:5. This profound conviction of eternal life and reunion can dissipate grief and bring deep peace. So you see, the true secret, the higher power that Peele constantly refers to, is God. He asserts that this power is constantly available to anyone, regardless of circumstances. He points to the success of Alcoholics Anonymous, whose basic principle is recognizing one's own powerlessness and then depending on a higher power for strength. He shares a gripping story of an alcoholic who, at the brink of committing murder, found sobriety by praying, "Please, God, get me past this place," and drawing on this higher power. It's about surrendering your will and life to God's care, and in turn, receiving remarkable victories. In essence, Peele's book is a call to action. It's a series of practical, workable techniques for living a successful life, a formula of belief and practice to win victory over every defeat. He urges us not just to read, but to persistently practice each technique until we get the desired results. He has absolute confidence and belief in the principles and methods outlined in this volume because they have been tested in the laboratory of spiritual experience and practical demonstration. They work when worked. So, my friend, if you're looking for a way to transform your mindset, gain unshakable confidence, find peace, boundless energy, and true happiness, this book offers a profound path. It's about realizing the incredible power within you, connected to a higher power that can change everything. It's about truly believing, expecting the best, and relentlessly focusing on positive thoughts. Give it a try. What have you got to lose, except maybe some of those old, tired, limiting thoughts?